How's it, everyone? Yes, I did just come from the bathroom again, and the moustache is still around. So today's video is going to be about what happens if you get to the runway and there's cloud overhead, or the final approach area is clouded in. And what usually happens if I get to a runway and it's clouded in, I'll put the timer on for 12 minutes, I'll limit myself to doing about 3 approaches or so, and then just wait it out and get a general feeling of what the weather's doing. There's obviously 2 things that can happen. The weather can start to get better, the cloud starts to rise and then you can come into land, or you can see the weather's building more and there's no point in hanging around and you should pop back to your main base. It's when you start to push those limitations that's when the accidents happen. And this is also a reminder for myself, because a month ago I was going into a runway called Ededua, and when I was going there, I arrived, there was cloud overhead the runway, so I popped the timer on for 12 minutes, and as I put the timer on, I was doing the approaches. I'll pop in the footage here. You can see one approach. To approach, and I could hardly see any part of the runway. But the general feeling I got of the area was the weather was starting to get better. So the 12 minutes finished, and this is where I should have returned back to base, but I'm not sure what I was thinking. Well, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking the weather seems like it's getting better, let me just hang around a little bit longer. So I did fuel calculations, and I calculated the minimum amount of fuel I'd need to return back to base. So I did the calculation and figured I could stick around for about another half an hour. So about 10 minutes after just holding, I was just flying down the valleys, and this is when I discover all the little waterfalls and little nooks and crannies, because there's not much else to do while you're waiting for the weather to lift, so you may as well just go explore the areas. So there was about a maybe 2-3 minute gap where I started to see little gaps of the runway, and I was thinking, okay, well, let me try another approach, and another approach, and another approach, and the conditions were just getting that tiny little bit better, that convinced me enough to stick around. I decided, okay, let me just go fly down the valley. I flew for about 5 minutes, then came back, and luckily then I was getting to my minimum amount of fuel before I had to turn back to Nigeria, and there was a tiny little gap, so I managed to land. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get that on camera because the GoPro or GoPro that I have, the battery isn't the best and it died. But I did go in there another time, and because I'm such a nice person, I got some footage of it so you can imagine me coming into that. So the story doesn't end there. So after landing, clouds started to build again. I got stuck on the ground there for about an hour and a half. It's actually not too bad when that happens. It's kind of just a forced relaxation. So I ended up chilling there for about an hour and a half. Usually when that happens, I'll go explore around the village. And there were little kids that were staying around. They had these cool little propeller type things that they'd made from like from banana leaves and sticks, and playing around with those.
Hey, hey, hey! Boy! Hey! Aduh! Ah, hey! Saat, cepat! Tidak ada angin. Ah. Hey, 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 bagus. Lebih cepat sekarang. Lihat. Hey, baik. Makasih adik. Hey, cepat, cepat.
But yeah, after an hour and a half, the weather started to clear and I managed to leave again. But it is a good reminder for me to not push myself as much. So this is a video to remind me about that, and maybe someone else that's watching about pushing the limits. Thanks so much everyone for watching. I appreciate everyone for watching.